Hey everybody, Jaspinko here with the third episode of GeoFrauds Season 8. Before we explore the world through today's GeoGuessr challenges, let's take a quick look at the leaderboard to see where I currently stand in the league. Last week, we explored an arbitrary world, and I finished in 9th place. That brought my total score up to 14 points, securing me 15th place in the league. Let's make it our goal today to climb at least one more rank. As we always do, we're going to play a practice challenge on the same map as the real league challenge so we can get warmed up. I've put today's practice challenge link in the video description in case you'd like to play along with me. Now let's explore. For week 3, we'll be playing on an AI-generated world. We'll have 90 seconds per round to pan and zoom to our heart's content, but we won't be able to move from our starting position. If there's any map out there that I've played less than last week's arbitrary world, it's this week's AI-generated world. I have basically no practice on this map, so this warm-up is desperately needed. Alright, our first round here looks like somewhere rather arid. It looks like it's been a little bit of time since the last rainfall. The dust is getting kicked up by the Google car. There aren't too many buildings in sight. It's also a little hard to tell what direction the sun is, but I have a suspicion we're somewhere that the sun could either be in the north or the south, depending on the time of the year. I think we're in Colombia. These fences are made of a bunch of tree branches. They're not like nicely milled pieces of wood. They have some character to them. And you'll find these types of fences constructions a lot in Colombia. So that's what I'm going to go with. We're somewhere in a flat part of Colombia, looking towards some hills to the north. Yeah, I'm not great at region guessing Colombia. I just know we're not super close to Bogota because it's very mountainous there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it more in the northern part of Colombia. Let's see how close of a guess this is. It was Colombia, and it was northern Colombia. I should have been more confident in sending it further north. We were near Barranquilla, but I'll take that score, 43-41. That's pretty good for an AI-generated world. Let's see if we can pull off another score like that in round 2. Alright, we have some long white stripes in the middle of the road. Relatively flat landscape, maybe just some rolling hills off to our north. Which direction is the sun in? It's to the south, which is a little surprising to me. I was feeling like this might be a southern hemisphere country. I guess upon taking it in further, I could see this being in Spain or Portugal, perhaps. So what I'm going to do is throw it in northern-ish Spain. It was Portugal, actually, and it was very southern Portugal. Well, I wish I did a little bit better that round. This isn't a game-ending score. Let's see if we can make up for it in round 3. Right off the bat, my brain went to, this is probably a place where there's Cyrillic writing. It's just the vibe that you get, this generation of imagery. It looks a little bit washed out. And so, can we get any more specific than that? I'm thinking it's just Russia. This style of electricity pole with like the support beam next to it. Find those a lot in Russia. And as far as region guessing Russia, that is often a very difficult task. It's very flat though, not a lot of evergreen trees, so I'm thinking it's more down in this area in western Russia. Yeah, I'm going to guess somewhere down here by Volgograd and see how well I know my Russian regions. Okay, it was Russia, and it was even further down in the Volga Valley. This is almost at the Sea of Azov. I didn't even know there was coverage right here, so this is pretty cool to be that close to the sea. Surprisingly, we did a little bit better in a Russia round than we did in a Portugal round. So maybe we have some wacky luck today. Let's see how that plays out in round 4. These rounds keep getting more and more rural and nondescript. We don't even have road lines to go off of here. This is just a sandy pathway. Why did Google even send a car here? I'm not quite sure. This fence is a bit more manufactured in a way. These poles are more uniform in shape, so it's not giving Colombia vibes. What direction is the sun in? I think the sun is slightly to the north, which would put us in the southern hemisphere. Perhaps this was an area of the rainforest that got converted into agriculture. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Where in Brazil would have light, sandy dirt like this? I'm thinking that's more out here, kind of on the eastern tip of the country. Let's see if I even got the right continent. I did! I even got the right country and the right region of the country. So again, this has been a very weird game where I did better in Brazil and Russia than I did in Portugal. Anyway, I'm not complaining. I'll take that score of 39-21. Let's see how our weird luck plays out again in round 5. Oh, wow. This is a beautiful location. Look at those snow-capped mountains along the waterfront. Oh, there are mountains just everywhere. I want to go here. I'm guessing the sun is in the north. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is going to be very southern Chile, I think. Very southern Chile, maybe Argentina. Can we get a flag? I don't see a flag, but where we're going, we don't need flags. Let's see if we can find a town that's on the southern edge of an inlet or a fjord. I do have to pay attention to the time limit. I really am tempted to get a 5K here, but it's looking unlikely. Oh well, I'm going to split the difference and put my pin in Puerto Natales, Chile. We're somewhere in southern Chile. Okay, classic Chile, New Zealand toss-up. We were actually on the southern island of New Zealand, Te Anau. Well, that's also a location I want to visit, so that doesn't change much. But what it does change is how well our score was trending. That was only 57 points for the round. So in total, I got a score of 15,484 points here in our practice round, which is not too confidence-inducing going into the league challenge, but for an AI-generated world, that might be okay. With that practice out of the way, it's time for the real league challenge. Just as before, I'll have 90 seconds per round to explore an AI-generated world, and I won't be able to move from my starting position. Last week, to my surprise, I ended up doing better during the league challenge than during the practice challenge, so I'm really hoping that that same thing happens again this week. Let's find out. Alright, we're starting off on a location that is coastal and near a large city. We have cacti on the ground. Looks like maybe an island off to the north. The sun is kind of obscured by some weird rectangle, but we'll just ignore that for now. I don't know that meta. The sun is to the south, though. Is this ever, like, Greece area? Surely it's around there. Or is it southern Italy? It could also be southern Italy. Alright, I'm just going to send this somewhere in Greece. I honestly have no idea where we are. Let's send it near Athens. No, that's... Oh no, I was zoomed in here for so long too. I thought this could have been it, because there is an island up to the north. But I doubted myself. I doubted myself that it was Sicily. Never doubt yourself, kids. If it looks like Sicily, then it's Sicily. With 3,300 points, we're off to a bad start. Let's see if we can recover in round 2. Alright, what are we dealing with here? Solid security. Alright, English writing. Fascinating. This is going to be somewhere in Europe. Not a great location for me. But it's a very flat area in Europe. I'm going to go with Netherlands. Don't let me down, Netherlands. It was Poland. Wasn't expecting Poland. So again, we've gotten around 3,300 points for the round. I really want to do better than that in the subsequent rounds, but my skill is just not up there today. Round 3, where is this going to plop us? Somewhere pretty arid. Where we drive on the right side of the road, we have shorter license plates, yellow lines in the middle. Look like US road lines, but we're not in the US. We're in Peru. These are Peruvian signposts. So when the sun is close to the horizon, I don't like to put a ton of credit into whether it's in one hemisphere or the other. because depending on the time of the year, it might be very close to sunset, where actually the sun will travel to the opposite side as you'd expect of the north versus south. But we're in Peru, somewhere pretty flat and arid. So I'm going to go more southern Peru on this. Generally, the further north you get, the more lush it's going to look. And so we have some mountains to our northeast. I'm going to send it near Arequipa, Peru, down here in the south. And that was a pretty good guess. We were near Lake Titicaca, near Juliaca, the city. But now that is a score I can appreciate, 43-98. Your boy's back. Let's see if we can do even better than that in round 4. Okay, we're just on a beach. What is this trekker coverage? Surely there isn't a vehicle below us. We're just on a lake. And what kinds of birds are these? Maybe the birds can help us. They just look like your average seagull. We can't quite see what's going on at the parking lot up here. I wish we were a bit closer. But I'm not even sure which continent we're on, to be honest. This could just be, like, Canada. Given how forested it is with evergreens, and yet lacking it is in mountains, I'm going to go with Ontario. Let's send it kind of northeastern Ontario. Well, it was Canada, but it was a couple provinces off. We were in northern Saskatchewan. And what was the name of that lake? It was Namekis Lake. If you've ever been to this lake, please let me know. I want to know if it's worth driving up to. But unfortunately, I got only 1,600 points that round. So all eyes are on round 5 to see if I can pick up any additional points this week. We're starting off with another beautiful coastal location. Crystal clear waters, very green grass, and mountains on the horizon to the south. We're dealing with European license plates, and if my eyes aren't deceiving me, we might have blue badges on both sides of the plate, which is something you could find in Italy. So we might be back in Italy here, bookending our AI-generated world experience. The coastline is along the east, so I'm gonna guess we're along the east coast of Italy here. I'll just put the pin there and see how close I am. I was in southern Italy after all, how about that? So this challenge started off and ended in southern Italy. Let's see, my total score this week was 17,263, which again was better than I did in the practice challenge. I could get used to this, doing better than my practice. Here's how everyone else did this week. Round 4 in Canada was rough on everyone, so Perdelot's first place position was secured with just 17,946 points. Pause took silver with 17,300 points, and believe it or not, I made the podium this week in third place with 17,263 points. With the addition of 18 leaderboard points, I now find myself tied for 9th place with Potato. You know, I could get used to this upward trajectory I now find myself on. I hope you enjoyed today's challenges. Let me know in the comments if you ended up playing along with the practice challenge. I'd love to know how you did and which rounds you found to be the most challenging. Also, be sure to subscribe so you know when the next episode comes out. Until then, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you again very soon.
Thank you.